Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, Fitzy's Fabulous Scrapbooks. I'm Michelle Fitzgerald, aka Fitzy, and I'm glad you could join me today. I'm an independent advisor for Creative Memories Scrapbooking, and I'm located in Stoughton, Massachusetts. I am a mom to 3 adult children and a beautiful, cute, adorable little Shih Tzu called Boo Boo Bear. I am here to help you make fabulous scrapbooks, and I'm hoping that you will enjoy and learn from everything I show here on my channel. Now, this is my very first video, and I'm not polished and perfect or anything like that, but hopefully what you'll get out of it will be able to help you make progress in your scrapbooks. I remember as a child, I was an avid photo taker, and I still am through today, really. There was a little place in the mall nearby that had a store called the Windsor Button Shop. I don't know if any of my local Massachusetts girls would remember that place, but I was also a very big sticker collector. And I used to go to the Windsor Button Shop, and they would have rolls and rolls of stickers behind the cash registers, kind of like how they do lottery tickets today. And you'd go in and you'd say, I want one of those, I'll take 2 of those and 3 of these. It was so much fun. And I'd go home, and the ones that I really loved and wanted to keep, I would put into an album. And the ones that, I was okay with, I kept those and traded with friends. So it's a lot of fun. But my photos, I don't know if you remember those old magnetic albums. Oh, and the ones that had all that icky, sticky stuff that turned yellow. Ooh, I don't use those anymore because they're not safe for my photos. And I want to make sure that my photos make it not through just my children's generation, but my grandchildren, great grandchildren, and further on down the line. And Creative Memories products help us to do that. So today what I want to do is show you my favorite tool, and I think the most essential basic tool that we have, and that's the 12-inch trimmer. So I'm going to show you all the little tips and tricks, and I'm even going to show you how to make a few things with it too. So what I'm going to do is go over to my fabulous overhead shot and get started. All right, so here is the 12-inch trimmer. Now, this has so many things on it. It's almost, kind of where I just don't know even where to start, but there's so many good things. So I'm going to start on the bottom. This is where you store your blades. Now the trimmer comes with the straight blade, and I always make sure I have an extra straight blade handy at all times as well, because you never know, eventually your straight blade isn't going to cut and you're going to need to replace it. The nice thing about the blades is you can get at least 1,500 cuts per blade. That's a lot of cuts. All right. So always have an extra straight blade on hand. You'll be glad you did. Now over here, we have the extendable arm. Now I'm going to flip this over for a second and show you. So it looks like this, and then we pull the arm out. So now instead of only being able to measure to the 5.5-inch mark, I can measure all the way out to at least, let me put this in camera view here for you, a little over 16 inches. So that's pretty nice. And then down this way, I can measure a little over 12 inches. All right. So that's helpful to know because most of our scrapbook pages are 12 by 12. So there you go. Now, what I want to also show you with the arm is this little foot stabilizer, if you will. And usually it looks like this. And when you're ready to use it, you just flip it up like that. And it's nice and firm. So now when I put my arm out, This is firm and it's stable. It's not going to go anywhere, and it's going to help me guide my paper when I'm ready to cut, and it won't let it slip or slide or anything like that. It will keep it straight, and that's what you want in a trimmer. Okay, so some of the other features I want to show you. This is the housing unit. Now, the housing unit does a lot of different things. The first thing it does is it holds your blade, whatever blade you're using. All right. So if you look right here, I'm going to get this in camera view for you. This little lid just pops up and opens like that. And then you can pull your blade out and put whatever blade you want into the little housing unit. All right. Now, one thing I want you to know about the blades, and I'm going to hold this close to the camera so you can see. And again, this is just the straight blade. But look here, if you have little ones at home, whether they're your kids, your grandchildren, or somebody you babysit for, but look at, I'm rubbing my finger right here on this blade and nothing is happening because the blade is in the case. Isn't that great? So you're not going to accidentally cut yourself, or no little fingers are going to get hurt. So what happens when you put the blade into the housing unit and you press down on the center of the housing unit, it pushes down on this white piece. So when you push on the white piece, the blade comes out. So I'm going to show you. I'm pushing on the white, and now you see that blade, okay? But when I release it, the blade goes right back up. So nobody's fingers will be hurt. So now we're going to put this blade in and click it down. Now, if I'm just clicking it down, it's not going to cut. The way I cut, and when you see it up close, it's kind of funny. Right here, it looks like in the white area here in the middle, it looks like the letter H. That's what I see when I look at it. So it's kind of cool though, because when I'm getting ready to cut, I know I have to press here to make the blade engage and do the cutting I need it to do. So it's always important to know that if you want to cut, you got to press down where that, what looks to me to be an H, press down on it and then do your cutting. Okay. Now, something else you need to know about the housing unit. Do you see this white line right here? All right. The white line is actually where the blade cuts. That's important to know. And you'll see why when I show you. We're going to make a frame in a few minutes. Okay. So the white line is 1 inch from end to end. So from the white line to the top of the unit is 1 inch. And from the white line to the bottom of the housing unit is 1 inch. Okay. It's really important to know that measurement. It's going to help you in a lot of things that you cut with this trimmer. All right. Now, if you look at the stabilizing bar, this is, it's got a ruler on it, which is very helpful. And you'll see why in a few minutes. Okay. But you're going to see how that plays into what you're doing when you cut. All right. I'm going to show you a couple of things. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take this paper here and I want to show you how to make a frame. One of, I think, the best features about this trimmer is the fact that you can cut the inside of the paper without having to cut the outside. Not a lot of trimmers do that. So I'm going to show you what I mean. And I think making a frame is the perfect way to show you. Now, I did show my clients the other night on our crop crew class how to do this, but I'm going to show you all as well. All right. So one thing I want you to know, when I make a frame, now typically when I use the trimmer, I hold it vertically and I cut like this. But when I'm making a frame, I think it's helpful to turn the trimmer sideways so it's horizontal in front of you. All right. And you'll see why in a few minutes. Now, if you notice up at the top here, there are two sides to your trimmer. So over here on the left, this will get you, it'll help you cut longer pieces. And I'm actually going to open my bar. because what happens when you have a large piece of paper, having the bar and for the paper to sit on, or the arm rather, I'm sorry, I'm calling it the bar, but it's really an arm. It just helps keep things stable for you. And the other thing I want you to notice is up here, there's a little bit of a ledge here, and you're going to push your paper all the way to that ledge, okay? And that's going to keep your paper stable. So it's not going to move around on you when you're trying to cut. And that will help you get a nice straight, even cut. And that's what you want. Now on the, oh, I forgot to talk to you about the mat. All right, so this mat, it has two lines on each side, on the front and the back, okay? The line, they're both dotted lines, and the line to the left is the actual cut line, all right? Now, the line to the right, you'll cut on it eventually, but it's once you turn the mat. And the reason you'll turn your mat, and I'm going to pull it out and bring it close so I can show you. So right here, this cut line is number 1. And then if you flip it upside down, your next cut line is number 2. And then if I flip it over, oops, there's 4, but here's 3, and here's 4. So your trimmer can give you, or a mat can give you up to 2,000 cuts. It's a self-healing mat, which is great. But what's nice is you can kind of look at it as every line gives you approximately 500 cuts. And you'll know when you need to change your mat because things happen. It might get just a little bubbly looking. Now, this is a brand new mat for me. I just got rid of my last one. I just finished it up and I had my extra one here that I could use, okay? But the dotted line might start disappearing. You might see little bits and pieces of paper stuck in the line. And that's kind of a good sign that you need to change the cut line that you're using. So then you would want to switch from 1 to 2. And then when 2 gets bad, go to 3 and 4. The nice thing is the mats are only $7.50. So instead of turning to a brand new trimmer, all you have to do is replace the mat. Your trimmer is still good to use, which is great. All right. And I'll show you after we do this cut where you can store an extra mat on your trimmer. So I'm just putting that back in at the number 1 cut line. And now I'm going to move this paper over to the right side of the trimmer, which is for cutting shorter pieces. And I think you can cut up to about 1.5 inches or 1 inch and 3/4 on this side. For my frame, we're going to do a 1-inch frame right now. So we're only going to cut at the 1-inch mark. So I'm going to line my paper up. And what I told my clients the other night is to line the paper up so you can still see just a little smidgen of that 1-inch line when you're cutting, okay? Now, the 1-inch frame is really the easiest frame to cut because the measurements are right here. You have your grid right here, okay? And the grid starts at the 1-inch and it ends at the 11-inch mark. And that's where you need to start and end to create a 1-inch frame. So I'm going to take that white line that was in the middle of the housing unit, and I'm going to start it on that 1-inch mark. And now I'm just going to put my nail right at the 11-inch mark so I don't forget that's where I need to stop. However, I need to stop at the white line, not at the end of the housing unit. So you'll see. So I'm starting now and I'm going down. And when that white line gets to the 11-inch mark, I'm stopping. All right. And so this is what the first cut looks like. Now I'm just going to rotate 1 turn. And I'm going to line back up to the 1-inch mark, just like so. And again, I'm going to pull my housing unit up to the 1-inch mark at the top. And I'm going to start my cut. And I just want to make sure I'm on it correctly. There we go. And I'm going to go all the way down to the white, get the white line on the 11-inch mark. Right. So now I have 2 sides cut. And I'm going to do the same thing on my 3rd side. And again, I'm going to start at that 1-inch mark and go all the way to the 11-inch mark. So I'm using that white line in the middle of the housing unit, okay? And the nice thing about the trimmer, if you don't think you cut all the way through, just go back and forth a couple of times to make sure you got all those cuts. And look here, now we have almost like a U shape, right? So we just need to cut the very last side and we'll have our 1-inch frame complete. So let's get over to the 1-inch, which is right there. All right. And I always take my time, make sure I'm lined up correctly, and go. All right. And here we have it. Here's my 1-inch frame, and here's the middle. So this ends up being a 10 by 10 inch square. So you can cut this up to use for mats. You could even put it on a page next to it, and now you have a 2-page spread. There's a lot you can do with this, okay? But that's how you cut a 1-inch frame. So now let me tell you a little bit more about this trimmer. I want to show you, before I forget, where this little mat gets stored. So when you flip this over, easier if I show you this way, the mat, if you have an extra mat, and I have one on order because this was my extra, I just changed it out, but it stores neatly just like that underneath. And when I'm ready, I can just pop it out and I'm good to go. All right, now you don't lose your blades, you don't lose your extra mat, you have everything handy when and where you need it. They really thought everything through, I have to tell you. All right, now one of the other, I'm just going to clip this mat back here. One of the other great things about this trimmer is it comes with this 45-degree angle. And what can you do with that? I'm going to show you. Let me cut a few strips here. I'm going to do 2. 1 and 2. All right. Now I'm going to take my strip and I'm going to put the top corner on the cut line, and I'm going to keep my paper on the 45-degree angle, the top part of the paper. Okay, and I'm going to cut, and I'm going to get a nice little edge like so. All right, and now I'm going to turn this, I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to do the same thing. So line it up on the 45-degree angle mark and have that top left-hand corner on that first cut line and cut. And I'm going to do the same thing over here with my second strip. So we're just going to cut. And again, that top corner is on your cut line. And we're lining up to that 45-degree angle. And we're going to flip it so the back side of the paper is showing. And we're going to make sure we stay on that 45-degree angle line. And now look what you can do. You just made mitered corners. How cool is that? So now you can take, you know what, I'm going to do 2 more just to show you a 12-inch frame with mitered corners. So there's 1. There's 2. And now I'm going to do the same thing on both sides. Up. And the key here is to make sure you flip your paper. My clients, a few of my clients and I have discovered if you don't flip, you're in trouble. All right, so, and we're going to do the next one like so. And flip it. So just get that top left-hand corner on your cut line, and the cut line again is the line to the left. The right line is not your cut line, but your left line is. All right. So now we're gonna flip it over. And I'm gonna show you this cool little frame. And look at that. Now you have a mitered 2-inch frame that you can put whatever you want in the middle. Pretty cool, huh? And then what you could do, ooh, this would look cool. How pretty is that? All right, so now you can see why the trimmer is probably one of my favorite tools, and it's not that hard to use, and it's only $49. I think that's a great value. And the blades here are $9 a blade. Now, in one of my next videos, I'm going to show you different things you can do with the blades. Some of these blades really are like twofers. You can get 2 different cuts out of the same blade. So I'm going to show you all that in my next video, but I think this is enough for my first video tonight. So anyway, I just want to give you a little key here. I'm going to hold this up to the camera. Again, I'm not polished yet. This is brand new to me, but I wanted to let you know you are watching my YouTube channel, which is Fitzy's Fabulous Scrapbooks. And you're going to come here for techniques, for tips and tricks on using your tools and learning different page layout ideas, etc. All right. And then I do have a Facebook group, and myself and 2 of my downlines, or girls that are on my team, we have a group. It's a free group for our clients. It's called FRQ Glitz Girls Scrapbooking Group. And we're basically a free community of scrappers where we share, we learn, we get motivation and support. And we have a lot of fun and a lot of laughs on that group. And myself and my downlines, we do funny videos every now and then. So we like to get everybody laughing and having fun, because that is in the long run what this is all about. And then if you have any questions at all, here's my email. It's fitzy's@gmail.com. And just make sure you realize Fitzy's is spelled F-I-T-Z-Y-S. There's no punctuation in that, okay? But please, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me with your questions, either by making comments on this YouTube video or by emailing me. So what can you do right now? Well, if you liked this video, I hope you'll click the like button. And if you want to see more videos, I hope you'll hit the subscribe button. And once you hit the subscribe button, click on that little bell icon if you want to be notified for when I do new videos. You will see them come out right away. And stay tuned every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. I will be putting out one new video every Sunday night, and I hope you'll be able to join me and watch. And please feel free to share with anyone that you think would be interested in learning more about what we do here with creative memory scrapbooking. And so what I'd like to say right now is thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Have a great night.